What is up, my peepholes? This is your guy, Cly, and welcome back to that thrifting series. I finally got the fluffy butt on camera. Mainly by bribing her with ham. She doesn't work for free, and here's hoping this take is the good one because I'm out of ham in my hand. So, I told you last week that this is going to be about video games. And while I was getting everything together, well, let me just move my chair a little bit. I realized that it's also going to be mostly about dumpster diving. I've got one item that I'm going to be showing you today that I thrifted. Everything else is from the trash. So before I go into that, let me preface this by saying while I do condone dumpster diving, I mostly want to just let you know, do it safely and do it legally. Before you go out and rummage in the trash, well, first, make sure you're properly equipped, safety gear, thick boots if you have to go in, or hopefully, preferably don't go in. Avoid going into suspect dumpsters or dumpsters filled with food just don't go into dumpsters filled with food, trust me. Also, check your local laws to see if you're going to be violating them. And sorry for the raspy voice, I got a little bit of a virus right now, so yeah, let's hope that doesn't affect me too much. Don't trespass, don't go into businesses that explicitly say don't go in, don't bypass locks. And bye-bye, Kitty. Just all around, make sure you're not violating your local laws when doing this. Also, never, and I repeat, never go into a trash compactor. A free item is not worth your life. I've heard too many horror stories about it, so yeah. Exercise caution, be safe, don't break the law, and don't make a mess. So many dumpster divers make a bad name for the rest of us by just spewing all the trash all over the floor. With that little cautionary tale out of the way, it's not really a tale, just cautioning, I'll just say be careful. With that out of the way, let's get down to business. If you heard that, that is the fluffy butt going into the other room saying she wants to play because she just ate dinner and had a little oh my god, she's being silly. She wants to play. Alright. I'm not going to let that throw me off track. Let's get to the one thrifted item in this video. Alright, so the first item I have is a mystery bag. Now, when I first saw it, I just saw this guy right here, and let's just fix the focus a little bit. Got a cattail in the shot. Oh well. Wonder if he'll pop up later. For now, he'll just stay in the chair. So, saw that. And yeah, decided to take a look around. Oh, other kitty has come back in and once again decided playtime. Oh, she's on the table now. Wow, she's getting aggressive for playtime. And then I saw this little bag, or this little guy right here, a little case. Now, I was a bit suspect just because I've come across bags of Game Boy accessories, and it was nothing but the accessories, for around the same price. But then I gave a little pinch, noticed that it was quite firm, so I took the risk. I decided, you know what, there's a chance, so I paid my $6.50. Yes, it was just $6.46 plus tax. Nice. So, we got the case. We got a car charger. We've got wall charger number 1. Wall charger number 2. And car charger number 2. So we got a lot of power to go with this thing. We've also got the game case. And, to my delight, a headphone adapter. Because if anyone's ever encountered the Game Boy Advance SP, it doesn't actually have a built-in headphone adapter. It goes through the charging port, and this one actually allows you to charge at the same time. Not all of them do. So I thought that was a nice little inclusion. I guess I'll just show you the unit first. Decent blue color. Sadly, a little bit of scratch on the front. I was sad about that. And it is the... Focus. There we are. It is the 001 model, not the 101, which means it is front lit instead of backlit. What does that mean? Well, let's just notice how it's a little bit dimmer than, say, a DS. That's because the lights are in front of the LCD instead of behind it. It's still a good unit, and to be honest, I haven't charged this since I got it, so I had a little bit of residual juice. Now, in here, we've got a wee bit more than I expected. Oh. Now, admittedly, I don't really care about SpongeBob and Kim Possible for the Game Boy Advance, but Crash is intriguing. Bring it up. The obligatory sports game. Every time I buy a bundle of games at a thrift store, video games, cartridges, and discs and whatnot, there's always a sports game. So for the Game Boy Color, we've got NBA on NBC, NBA Showtime. We also have this nice opaque case here, The Sims Bustin' Out. And next up, Need for Speed, Porsche Unleashed. Oh, okay. I'd never looked at the subtitle. So yeah, that's the only thing in this video that I paid good money for. There's one more thing that I paid a little itty bitty bit for, mainly a part, and you'll see that coming up soon. And I don't know why I trailed off as soon. You'll see it in a moment, at some point during this video. Still don't know what order I'm going to show them to you in yet. Alright, let's start the dumpster diving portion with ones that I found locally in my apartment complex. So, first off is going to be one of the weirder ones I'm showing you tonight. Not exactly a mainstream system. Let's just bring it out. I already taken it out of the box because I actually found it in box, but I couldn't really fit that thing in frame. This is actually another take. Let's adjust focus again. Didn't really change much. Oh, the other cat has joined me in the room. Let's see if he's going to bug me and get on the table. Or scratch at my pens. So this is the VTech V-Flash. Let's go ahead and just... There we go. It's actually just a kid's video game system. Yep, cat scratching at my butt. Alright, so... It's nothing too amazing. In fact, it was very poorly supported by VTech. Only about 6 or so games came out, not including the one included with the system. The interesting thing is, it is a 32-bit system. Oh, Kitty's gotten himself on the table. There he goes. You're getting both kitties tonight. And the thing that I find the most interesting is the way they child-proofed this system. It's a CD-based system, but the discs are included in these cartridges. And it's got a nice tray in here that actually covers up the laser until it closes, and there's a disc inside. So, yeah, it's really neat. Now, I don't plan on going out and trying to buy all of the other games, but fortunately, previous owner included this. This is a CD adapter, so I can actually put any CD I want into the system, and it has no copy protection. So if I really wanted to and play all the weird games available for it, I found the ISOs, because I can't find these games anywhere. I want to preserve this piece of history, and actually I'm tempted to try out a few things I've heard. Some people said you could actually play Flash games on this, so I'm actually tempted to see if I can't get some more use out of this. It was such a promising 32-bit system. It's got the neat little thing here. So this is actually UMD style, just big. If you don't know what a UMD, it's the original PSP way they wanted to protect the little bitty discs. So it's got that. Also, the controllers are actually quite interesting in my book. Let's just... I should have unwound this before starting this portion. I apologize to all headphone users. Oh, this can be fun to put back too. So, here's the best part. You've got a nice little... Actually, the analog stick is very nice. your color-coded and shape-mapped buttons, and then... Oh, come on. Aha, it rises. Yes. Okay, this is my favorite feature of this controller. So, flip of a switch, it pops out, and you can actually change it up for left-handed and right-handed users. I mean, the big boys don't even do this. I've gotten a few third-party controllers that did that kind of thing, but come on, that's cool. Now I'm going to just do another jump cut to show you the other two systems that are worth showing from my local diving. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. First off, I've got a very, very filthy, smoke-damaged PlayStation 1. I believe I'm going to need to replace the CD drive in this thing, but outside of that, it works fine. It pulls up all the menus and everything. It just has an issue on discs. I may just have to clean it out because, as you can tell, very, very, very smoke yellowed. So there's probably just a clog on the spool. I just haven't had the time to take it apart yet. If I do need to replace the drive, I do have a junker system that I thrifted and then accidentally broke while trying to mod. Yay for slipping while soldering. So I can harvest the drive out of that and put it in here if needed. Yeah, there's the PS1 I found. Now, somebody was apparently a Bears fan. Which, yeah. They really decked this thing out. But it works. There is zero issue with this PlayStation 2. It even came with a game inside. I don't remember what it was. I think it might actually be back... No, it's not back in there. Also very heavily smoked around. I've got a story coming up later to just demonstrate why you should either not smoke around your electronics or you should clean them out regularly if you do. Yeah. So I've gotten 2 members of the PlayStation family so far. Let's see what's next. Actually, I think I'm going to deviate a little bit from my original schedule. I am instead going to show you ones that my girlfriend's mother dumpster dived in her neighborhood. Well, okay, she didn't dumpster dive, she curb surfed. One of her neighbors is notorious for throwing out some really, and I mean really good stuff. Like, Louis Vuitton, Coach, stuff like that. This person has money and doesn't care what they do with items that have never had their tags removed. Sadly, these are not in that family. No PS4s or Xbox Ones here, but I did get this. Came with all the cords, a controller, and Super Mario All-Stars. It was nice. She also threw out a GameCube with the Game Boy player. There we go. Nice and pretty. Unfortunately, I do not have the boot disc for the Game Boy player, so I'm going to have to look for one of those. Oh, a little dusty still. But yeah, I love my girlfriend's parents' neighbor. Such a wasteful individual. She's keeping an eye out for more tech for us. She does spread the wealth when it comes to the clothing finds with her friends and my girlfriend, so everybody wins in this situation. Oh, and also, I believe we got 4 Wii remotes from the same person. No Wii, though, which was sad. On to the next haul. So, yeah, these items come from a single dive in a single dumpster, which for a while became my favorite dumpster. Haven't been back in quite a bit, though, because it's out in the open on a favored shortcut in the area. So I don't really care for all the weird looks I would get. But yeah, all 4 of these came on one night. Notice the lack of Bears stickers on the PS2. 0 problems with this one. 0 problems with this Xbox. This Xbox, what's the best way to describe it? Previous owner tried to hack and then failed. So it was left with no firmware, No ability to navigate your saved games or anything like that. Still booted, still played games, but outside of that, you couldn't do any of the other features that it was capable of. Fortunately, I did find a controller that night, and I modified it to take USB dongles. And so I finished hacking it. It now works perfectly. Yay. Though I did learn that night, don't trust off-brand USB manufacturers to properly label their wires, because the company actually inverted the wire code, the colors, and so I ended up frying the original USB stick that I used. Fortunately, it was just an SD card reader. And after swapping everything, and the SD card was fine, I swapped the wires, and yeah, Bob's your uncle, the rest is history, all good. The N64, on the other hand, didn't work when I first found it. And that's because of one very simple thing. Arg! No! Aha. Notice the lack of thing inside. Let's just... Yeah, I really need to stop adjusting focus. There we go. Nope. There we go. Set it back to manual. There's no jumper pack. Also, a good bit of top damage and some sticker marks. But there's no jumper pack. So, yeah, the place that bought this from the previous owner decided, it doesn't work. I'm not going to look inside and try to fix it. And then they threw it out. Oh, look. A jumper pack. I bought this from Goodwill for 50 cents. Let's just... It works now. And I know that's the only problem because I actually happen to have an expansion card in my other N64, slotted it in here, and it purred like a kitten. Knowing the basics of using a console can be very helpful sometimes. It's also useful in some thrift stores when they actually try to test and fail. So whenever I see a sticker on a console that says as is and it's not a bad price, I buy it. Now, I've got one more thing to show you lot that I found the second day, the day right after these, same dumpster. I'm just gonna have to show you. The day after I found all of those other consoles, I found this. This is one of those where I am going to tell you why you need to know how to work on electronics. I'm not saying that as a suggestion. I'm saying that is, if you want to thrift for tech, dumpster dive for tech, eBay for tech, go for the broken stuff. Nobody charges a lot, or they throw it out, and you can fix it so easily usually. So I dumpster dived this the day after I found all the other stuff, and got it home, checked it out. It was nasty on the sides because the previous owner, of course, heavy, and I do mean heavy smoker, never once cleaned it out. Like I said, don't smoke around your tech, or if you do, clean it out. Just compressed air, that's all you need. It got to the point where this wouldn't turn on because it had been filled with enough smoke, resin, and carbon residue that there were several shorts inside of this. I am actually glad I didn't fry it trying to turn it on. So I took it apart, dusted it out, and tried to turn it back on because I did the primary dusting, the dusting inside the main unit. Still didn't turn on. So took it apart again. This time, I actually took the whole power box out, the power supply that this plugs into on the main board, and it was caked. I mean, it was disgusting inside. There was so much resin and carbon and tar and it's disgusting. That's the main problem that was in there. So I cleaned that out, put it all back together, turned it on, wired up, and then turned off again. Hey, cat. So, oh no, it died. Open it up one more time. Found the last of the problems. Turns out the previous owner actually opened it up trying to figure out why it wasn't working. When they went to remove one of the fans, specifically the most important fan on the CPU, they broke the connector. So there was no communication to the main fan on the CPU and the GPU, which means that it would overheat like that and turn off. So I ended up taking a little bit of time, doing a little research, found out I could bypass that connector with 3 wires. So I did. Took me about 20 minutes, mainly due to just wires not wanting to stay in place. And ever since, it's worked like a charm. It's fixed. It took me about an hour to do every last bit of what I said. No extra cash. And it works. Even better, it still has the 120 gigabyte hard drive. So yeah, that's how I got a free PS3. And those are just my dumpster diving stories that were successful. I have found a PS3 that someone stripped everything out of. I guess it died on them and they wanted to get their disc back, so all I found was like the bottom piece, not even the top, no Blu-ray drive, nothing else, just the motherboard, which was probably dead anyway. And I left that one, but I did bring in an Xbox 360. That was also stripped out. I was hoping to salvage some parts, but I haven't been able to use it yet, so we'll see if that was even worth grabbing. Everything I showed you today was, Cat, no rubbing the camera. No rubbing the camera. Now, I have finally... Cat! Let's just lay him down. I have finally gotten to the point where I'm ready to do some hauls. I've got 2 of them planned to show you, and I've, of course, since I'm doing this weekly, I've got plenty of time to get more stuff to put in more hauls. So the next 2 videos are probably going to be hauls. If I have to fall back on best ofs, I'm going to show you my best of dumpster diving. Because believe it or not, these are not the best items I've dived. These are not the most valuable items I dived. Now, I don't have Louis Vuitton. That belongs to my girlfriend's mother. But I have tech. I have kitsch. I have fun stuff. So I'm going to show that to you in a later episode. That'll be my next best of. Until then, I've got... I think I'm going to do... Well, okay, it's actually going to be a little bit of everything style haul, but it's heavily tech. So that's what's going to be next week. Cat, are you having fun sniffing the Blu-ray drive? Oh, and if you couldn't tell, I've had a lot of caffeine today. This is not one of my normal middle-of-the-night recordings. So until next time, this is your guy Cly, signing off.